Hello and welcome to Hibs Talk, the podcast for all your Hibs-related news and reviews. I am your temporary host today, Stuart Wilson, and joining me is Liam.
What's happening?
And Stephen.
Aye, all right.
Now, the reason why Liam got to go before Stephen was because Liam got onto the talk first. So that's why you're being punished there, Stephen.
And because it pisses him off.
And that too. So, how was your day, Stephen?
All right, busy.
Still working hard, yeah?
Yeah, what else I've got to, I suppose, so...
That's true. You're flying the flag for us there. And what have you been up to yourself, Liam?
Nah, mate, just working from home, chilling, killing, $10 billing.
What more can you say? Absolutely fantastic. You made a fantastic point about December earlier. I think you should share with our faithful listeners.
I said, listen, we're in December now. December is the Friday of months. No one does fuck all. I do fuck all for the other 10 months, 11 months anyway. I forgot how many months were in the year there. 11 months. So,
that's how little you do it, and honestly, we salute you for it.
Can't even count.
Fantastic. Obviously, thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. Just a quick in the news. Hibs and Rangers played out an 8-goal bounce game thriller at Rangers Training Centre yesterday. Stevie Bradley, Melker Halberg, Jamie Gullan and Ryan Shanley got the goals for Hibs, with COVID naughty boy Jordan Jones finding the net for Rangers, along with Greg Stewart and their academy pair, Chris McKee and Ross McCausland. Yeah, why not? And also in the news, very exciting, Lewis Stevenson holding new contract talks. Stephen, what's your opinion on that?
Fuck's sake. Honestly, like, unless it's just another player-coach contract, completely pointless, but...
No.
I would put him into player-coach role now with Gray and McGregor, because I don't think he's got to get much game time, so...
Absolutely. Liam, what's your opinion?
Got to agree with Stephen there. I don't see a long-term future for Stevenson at the club now. Obviously, he's been a great servant over the years, but I didn't see the point. Unless it's a player-coach, then it's redundant for me. I don't think he's good enough anymore to be playing week in, week out. But listen, he might be chomping at the bit to get coaching. So, it might end up being a good contract for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We all know he is Mr. Hibs. Louis got two. Can't disagree with you, lads. But his legs are still there. He can still play. But we've got McKee and obviously young Doig doing the job for us there. I'm sure Lewis, with his coaching, helping behind the scenes, has been fantastic, helping to bring youth players through and ambassador role with the club as well. So sure those contract talks will go well, because it would absolutely break my heart personally to see him playing against Hibs in a different colour shirt.
Aye, I'm not sure he would get in any Premiership teams at the moment, but maybe Hamlet.
If Stephen Whittaker gets moved into Championship, there's no chance for Stevenson, eh?
Listen, Stephen, we've spoken about this before. I'm not going to even go into the Stephen Whittaker debate because he shouldn't be playing in the Championship. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely. So we move on now to the Dundee game. Obviously, the Highbees coming through League Cup into the quarter-final stages with a 1-0 victory at home to Dundee. A little bit of deja vu about it, minus the scoreline. So obviously, talking points from the game. Liam, what did you think?
I'm not going to pull any punches here. Absolutely the most boring game of football I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Absolute shambles for both teams. Really. It was terrible. Thankfully, we got the win. But, after we pumped them 4-1 like a couple of weeks back, you're thinking they're going to come here, they're going to be like, oh, for fuck's sake, no Hibs again. And then we're just going to go and pump them. But we didn't. Maybe a wee bit of fair play to Dundee. They were a bit more resolute. But we were very uninspiring, to say the least.
Absolutely. Stephen, what were your thoughts?
No, 100% agree with Leon. Just really drab game. It was ready to turn off halfway through. Just so boring. It's a team that Hearts have pumped 6-2. We've already beat them 4-1. So there was no reason for us to only win 1-0, especially with the team that we had out as well. Just disappointing. But that's a win, eh?
Yep, that's it. At the end of the day, 1-0 in the cup, it's kind of all you needed. I thought Dundee obviously got in our faces a heck of a lot more than they did in the previous game, whether that was helped by everybody's favourite referee in the middle, letting guys like Charlie Adams away with murder for a lot of it. Obviously, reviewing the goal, great touch and control by Nisbet, right out onto Jamie Murphy, and a nice tidy finish just before half-time, maybe saving a few of the blushes and a little bit of the red rage from Jack Ross at half-time.
Absolutely. I'm not too sure about how much red rage would they come into Jack Ross. Seems too nice, but listen, at the end of the day, it's a fantastic ball through from Nisbet, and it's a great finish for Murphy. It's obviously the highlight of the game, getting the goal, but it's difficult to score those ones. It's easy to put them wide. It's easy to hit the goalie. So, absolutely all credit to Jamie Murphy there. It's a great run down the line and a spectacular finish to end it off.
Yeah, certainly one of the positives of the game for myself as well. McKee, Stephen, what did you think of McKee?
Yeah, I mean, he's really come on this season. It was disappointing to see how last season went after the Rangers game. But prior to that, I've always rated him. I've said it on so many podcasts before that it's good to have him back, and just gives that a bit of competition for Doig as well. Because I think obviously he was just getting a bit too comfortable at left back with Stevenson, his only competition, and Stevenson playing a more preclusive role to getting Doig into the squad. But Mackie's providing that competition and he's keeping him out of the team now, so it's always good to see.
He's an absolute unit as well.
100%.
He's a unit. He's come back for Dundee on loan, so much more bulky, and he's a lot more direct now in the last few games than what I remember him when he first broke through, when he got the games against Celtic and Rangers and all that, and then before he went on loan to Dundee. But no, listen, I've been really impressed with him as well.
Certainly, the lad's taking his opportunities. He's taken his lumps. He's come back a lot stronger. Fantastic to have him in the squad, and good competition for that left back role from two youngsters. Cannot complain. We do need to touch on it though. That midfield, once again, what's the answer, guys?
Pish. It's fucking diabolical. Honestly, without Newell, that midfield, well, Murphy as well, because he's been playing out wide, but without the A2, it's just been absolutely shocking. Boyle's been hopeless since he got his new deal. I think Gogic has been quite a big,
Gogic is a hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
Gogic can either have a really good game or he can be a complete passenger.
Yeah, and then obviously Malin and Hallberg in that midfield, both shite, so yeah.
Thing is, you look at the midfield that we've got, right, and you look at the players that we've got, none of them are, you wouldn't say that any of them are actually shite football players.
Average.
Hallberg and Malin, average, good enough for Hibs, maybe no. Boyle's a good player, Murphy's a good player, Newell's a great player, Gogic is a good player. We've got good players, they're just not playing well at the moment, and I don't know why.
Because there's no Scott Allan.
Or Kyle Magennis.
Yep, those are two that we are definitely missing out on. Unfortunately, no so much injury news or out news regarding those two. I do want to have a bit of a shout out to a good friend of mine, Laird, who did see Scott Allan at the service station, but chickened out and actually going over and asking him how he was doing and when we could see him back. So that could have been a Hibs Talk exclusive there, but Laird kind of mucked that up. So thanks very much, pal.
Absolute pathetic.
Thank you
that
very much.
That guy's a nobody.
We will pass that on to him when the podcast
That's a shout
out
out for me.
There you go.
Laird, you're an absolute nobody. Grow up here.
Liam has spoken. Sorry, Laird. I must say, though, I thought Hallberg did very well when he came on. Stevie Malin coming off, not looking too impressed, but sadly we weren't too impressed with him either.
I think that obviously the last couple of chances that Malin's had to break into that team again, he's just done nothing. He's not proved his worth in that squad. Obviously lost his ability to hit a ball for long range, which is what I thought his actual purpose in the team was. more the Kenny McLean role, like just hitting it for 20 yards and hitting the back of the net, but he's done absolutely nothing this season. He's just picked up from where he was at the end of last season.
I think he's got a brass neck to be raging when he got taken off as well, because
100%.
he was garbage.
I genuinely wanted him to kick on from a good goal that he scored against Dundee weeks earlier in the same competition, but sadly doesn't seem to have a little bit of time out. Might be able to reassess him from there. Got to say though, I was impressed when Drey Wright came on. First kind of in and out of the team, really not seen too much of him since he signed from St Johnstone in the summer. Did you see enough from him to warrant a place on the pitch?
I don't know. My opinion chops and changes on Drey Wright all the time. He's had a couple of half-decent games where he's looked a bit of a player, but he doesn't really have much pace. He doesn't have much skill on the ball. He's just kind of there, isn't he? I mean, I think maybe we should give him a go ahead of Boyle, bring Boyle off the bench, maybe make him a wee impact sub, and then get Drey Wright to see if he can do anything. But listen, he's not had a chance, not had a proper string of games. So maybe if he got a good 5-6 games under his belt, we'll be able to see a different player. But at the moment, I'm just not seeing anyone that's good enough for Hibs.
Absolutely are. But looking at what Dundee did or didn't do on that pitch, I don't think Rocky's had a quieter afternoon in a long enough time, and the defence was solid. Stephen, is that something we can take from a positive?
Yeah, I'd take it as a positive. No fuck ups for Porteous, so that's a positive. It's just it's good to keep it in the midfield. Another example of that was at the weekend there. I think it was I can't even remember which Premier League game it was I was watching, but it was I think it was only 3% possession in the opposition's half, and they were just completely dominant. And I think that's where we've got to pick up. Dundee are quite aggressive in the midfield. You've got Charlie Adam who's been creating chances, Dorrans as well. Players like that are good enough for low side Premier League teams. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of these things. You take it as it comes with Hibs, and probably the best it's not having to rely on the defence at the moment, because we've just been absolutely shocking in recent weeks. So.
Well, absolutely. And sorry, if I'm not mistaken, I thought Graham Dorrans had left Dundee. They'd had a parting of the ways. That might be something that I misread somewhere. But you know what? At the end of the day, we're through to the quarterfinals of the League Cup, and next we are facing, well, it would have been a derby, but that's not to be. We're going away to Alloa, plastic pitch territory, once again, against some part-timers. Liam, how do we approach this one?
I was surprised it wasn't Dundee at home, to be honest. But listen, Alloa, they were a bit of a bogey team for us when we were in the Championship, especially there. The plastic pitch is terrible. It's not even one of the half decent ones. It's going to be tough watching Hearts go there and get beat. You would expect 9 times out of 10 Hearts to go there and wipe the floor with them. So I don't think we can take it too lightly. We can maybe say, it's only Alloa, all we need to do is turn up and win. But Hibs have got a really good habit of thinking that we just need to turn up to places and we get beat. So I think we need to take it as, it's a quarter-final of a cup. Take it as if it was a quarter-final against Celtic or Rangers. I want to be in that semi-final. I want for us to go to Hampden again. So it's all pointing towards a Hibs win, but we need to make sure we go there and actually beat them, basically, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Stephen, anything to add?
No, I think he's spot on. Alloa are one of the teams that can beat any of the best teams out of nothing, and obviously with some of the cup shocks that we've seen at the weekend there, with Ross County winning, St Johnstone winning, St Mirren winning, all against better opposition. I think it will be a tough game, and unless we're doing something going forward, I think that Alloa have got more ahead, more chance of getting a good counter attack, and I can see us conceding anyway. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. So.
Absolutely, keep it professional, lads, and hopefully we'll get another trip to Hampden into the diary.
I just do want to add that Alloa are absolute nobodies.
We should be selling Hibs Talk t-shirts with "You're a Nobody" on the front. I'm sure we could arrange that, and a small percentage going towards Liam for a great catchphrase.
I actually thought that your hoodie was going to say it on it.
For those only listening on the podcast, Liam just put a hoodie on because he's a man. He's not got his central heating on just yet.
No, my heating's broken at the moment.
Oh, there we go.
I went through the kitchen. My mum said,
Just not paid.
No, I went through the kitchen. My mum was like, "Oh, that's the heating broken. Hope you know what in a shower." I went, "Fucking hell."
So if anyone have a good reference to a plumbing or heating engineer, get in touch with Hibstock.
Send them my way.
Also in the news this week, Celtic, it's kicking off in more ways than one. Obviously, they are having their off the field and in the car park issues, but they've decided to drag Hibs into this as well, moving the kickoff time for the upcoming game without our permission, without even contacting us. Stephen, what on earth's happening here?
I hope the fuck Dubai goes on the no-fly list. Genuinely hope it happens. Imagine that though, after a derby, after an Old Firm derby, wanting to go on holiday for a week before you play Hibs. It's horrendous. But it was interesting to see Leanne's comments, obviously exiting the club and going out with a bang by the looks of things, already fizzing, so we'll see what happens. But it was interesting to see how it's been handled, and with the SFA's retort, I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes down, saying that they gave us notice and never had any response from Hibs. So it's one of the things, I suppose.
I was really surprised actually when Leanne Dempster came out on Twitter and proper went for the SFA. I was like, holy shit, you can tell that you're leaving, eh?
She definitely had a drink before the second tweet.
I imagine that. I bet you there's been an email that someone has missed. Someone's going to have the reddest neck because they're going to be like, "Oh fuck!" They're going to be sitting there, but I can't tell anyone. I've had this email sitting there.
Evidence.
It went straight to my junk. Oh no.
Well, that's it. As you said, boys, fizzing is the word. How do we see this one playing out? We've seen it in the past where teams in the Cup have agreed to move a venue, move a kickoff time, something along those lines. Both teams haven't agreed. Now, obviously, we're the aggrieved team right now. If it was a case of, we're moving because Hibs/Celtic are still in a Cup competition, Europe or otherwise, I can see a kickoff time being moved. But to allow Celtic to just go off to Dubai for probably a couple of glamour Thai friendlies on a cushy holiday, it can't go ahead, surely.
Well, it's not as if they're still in Europe, so that's not an excuse. And I think it's the SPFL. They had actually made a statement saying that it's the home team that get the final say on it. So with the way things have went, I would assume that because we're the home team, it should be reverted back to Saturday. But you can what it's like, always favouritism with the Old Firm. So some Monday it'll be now, Monday.
You need to look at it as if the tables were turned and Hibs had moved it without Celtic's permission. It would never have been allowed to go ahead. And if it did, it would be reverted back to its original date immediately. I've got to say, it doesn't bother me too much, if it affected me going to the game or watching the game, I'd maybe be like, that's a bit shite, but it doesn't affect whether I'm going to watch it or not. But if people, it's been released that Monday, isn't it?
Yeah, Monday 8:00.
So if there's folk who are off at the weekends and work on back shift on Mondays, you're not going to be able to watch it. So it's a bit shit for them. But suppose there's going to be people that support Celtic that are going to be in the same situation as well. So No, it's not very fair, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me too much.
So we will see how this one pans out. Now moving on to the weekend fixture, we are away to Motherwell, a 3:00 kickoff away from home. What can we expect? Bit of a mixed bag from Motherwell so far this season, Stephen. Easy for me to say.
The Steven season.
The Steven season. We're into the Steven season. Let's get what Stephen thinks.
Well, I don't know. Motherwell are one of the teams that you just can't really predict. Should have hammered them the first game that we played them. Had all the chances. Motherwell were on a really poor patch of form. And then it finished 0-0. And I don't even think we had a shot on target that game. So hopefully none of that. But at the same time, we really need to sharpen up defensively as well, because they've got players like Campbell that will hit you on the attack. And I think it'll be one of these back and forth games. Hopefully more of the 6-6 action from a few years ago, as opposed to the 0-0 shite that we had at the start of the season. So
that's it. Liam, anything to add? Who should we be watching for?
I couldn't tell you a single player that plays for Motherwell. Listen, from 1 to 11, nobody's. But I'm just looking here, and they've no won a game since the last day of October, which is, quite frankly, embarrassing, pathetic. So you can absolutely bank and get your mortgage on them beating the Hibs by score to 0 on Saturday.
Entirely possible. We've got, we're always a good team to face when somebody's on a bad run. Let's be fair. That's been part of Hibs history as far as I can remember. Yep, certainly looking at Allan Campbell. He's one that we are supposedly keeping tabs on the situation. I believe his contract is up in the summer. Would be a great addition to kind of build to the solid youth that we've already been looking at with Kyle Magennis and Nisbet coming on board with us here. I'm always a fan as well, times I've seen it, of Sherwin Seedorf as well. He seems to cause a bit of trouble, but never really seems to get the plaudits at Motherwell or the time on the pitch that he deserves.
That's it. I think with Sherwin Seedorf, said a lot about him last season. Is that impact sub that will come on and change a game? Probably deserves more minutes than he actually gets. But yeah, he's one of many. I think there's more chance of us signing David Marshall than Allan Campbell at the end of this season. But Billy, he likes all the youth players that we can't ever get. So be interesting to see how it pans out. Got a few. Well, they've got 2 Scotland internationals as the heart of defence, really, with O'Donnell and Gallagher. So
what can we expect for Hibs formations?
3-5-2.
3-5-2.
To be honest, I couldn't even have a guess at a formation. I mean, there's too many people that we need to take out and put in. I think Jack Ross pulls names out of a hat at the start of every game, so that's the only explanation I can have for Stevie Malin playing. So he's probably going to get a game again on Saturday. There's 10 balls with 14 Malin on it. Let's pick one of them, but listen. I think it's going to be a tough game, regardless of what way we set up, how we set up. They're a good team there. I know I said they haven't won since the end of October, but we've not got a great record there of late. I can't honestly remember the last time we won there, and the last few times that I've been, we've either drawn, it's been boring, or we've been absolutely rinsed. Sherwin Seedorf tore us apart at the start of last season, I remember. And again, Allan Campbell's definitely going to be a danger man in the middle of the park.
Perfect. So finally, predictions. Stephen, what we're going to get?
3-1 Motherwell.
3-1 well. Oh, Liam.
I didn't think it's going to be 3-1 Motherwell. I think there's going to be goals. I'm going to say 2-2.
2-2. Well, I'm agreeing with you. I'm reckoning it's going to be a draw. I'm going to say 1-1. So maybe not a happy Saturday for us high Bs, but we will see what the game brings us.
Is there a PPV? for Saturday?
As far as I'm aware, no. I've not heard of one yet. So
Maybe Motherwell will bring one out, hopefully.
Yeah, getting a bit late
Well,
in the day
hopefully
for
not.
advertising it. Getting a bit late in the day for advertising it. You'd think they'd want people in as quick as possible.
Who knows? I'll have a wee look afterwards and try and find out.
Perfect. And finishing up today, we're going to have a very quick game of start, bench, shell, but we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to have a manager's edition. So up on the podiums today, we have Bobby Williamson, Mixu Paatelainen, and John Yogi Hughes. Just a little bit of stats for you here. Bobby Williamson was our manager from the 25th of February 2002 to the 20th of April 2004. He was manager for 93 games, seeing us into 34 wins, 21 draws and 30 losses. So that is a win percentage of 36.5%. Mixu Paatelainen was our manager from the 10th of January 2008 to the 29th of May 2009, 62 games, 19 wins, 18 draws, 25 losses, and a win percentage of 30.6%. And John Yogi Hughes was the 8th of June 2009 to the 4th of October 2010, 54 games in charge, 19 wins, 12 draws, 23 losses, and 35.1% win percentage. And I knew those off the top of my head. Thank you.
You didn't get these stats for Gav, like.
I did not. So, initial thoughts. Boys, can we get your thoughts on Bobby Williamson?
I don't really remember much of Bobby Williamson. That was when I first started going to Hibs games when I was a wee laddie, when Bobby Williamson was in charge. I don't remember an awful lot. I don't really remember the style of play. I just remember that he was a big fat guy with glasses, basically.
You might have been watching reruns of Thomas the Tank Engine, but okay.
Maybe. You never know. But I can't really remember much of him. I'm more clued up on the Mixu and John Shoes era.
Super. Rubbish for me to start with you there, so I apologise. Stephen, what do you reckon to Bobby?
I think he was consistent. He managed us when we got back into the Premiership, so and obviously he was following Alec McLeish, and it was a tough time at Hibs as well. Managed to get us to the semi-final, to the final of the Scottish Cup against Celtic. Fair enough.
That was Alex McLeish. Bobby Williamson got us to the final against Livy.
Livy, yeah. That's
the League Cup, yeah.
That's right. It was before Mowbray. So maybe that wasn't a highlight.
You've got to credit him for the cup run, though, beating Celtic and Rangers on the way.
He was steady, and he knew how to play against Old Firm, which was a big plus. Because it's very rare that managers following him, apart from Alan Stubbs, I say, have challenged the Old Firm as much as he did. So, as well. But he had that illness as well, and all sort of went downhill after that. So,
absolutely. Bit of credit going to him with regards to some of the youth players he brought through. We can all picture the image of the young guys leaving the centre circle after the penalty. Absolutely golden generation. So that was a fantastic way to see it. But remember, guys, if you want entertainment, you need to buy a ticket to go to the cinema. He was here to win football games. Mixu Paatelainen, Stephen. What a signing.
I think it's one of these managers. Like it was reminded me of when we had Sozia in as a manager. Brought him in purely for the fact that he was a Hibs legend. Starting out his managerial career and ends up at Hibs. Tough times. Wasn't the best manager that we've had in the last 20 years anyway. So.
He did bring Derek Riordan back though. I think he was the manager that brought him back.
I'm pretty sure of that.
I think he got a win at Tynecastle as well when Riordan scored the pen.
I think every manager's had a win at Tynecastle, to be fair, though.
I don't know if John Hughes has.
Oh, that would be one for the status. Please comment.
Why have you not looked that up, Stuart?
I know, I've kind of let myself down there.
These are the questions you need to ask, yeah?
Tell you, Gav makes this look easy. I'm never going to slag him ever again.
To be fair, though, he doesn't have Liam to put up with, so...
That's it. Maybe a lot of romance bringing Mixu back into the fold. However, worth pointing out that Bobby Williamson and Mixu Paatelainen went on to be international managers. Bobby looking after, I want to say, Uganda, and Mixu to his native Finland. So finally, wrapping us up, John Yogi Hughes. What have we got?
John Hughes. He got us to Europe, I love his passion for football. I love John Hughes' passion for football. I love the fact that he thinks he should get the Scotland job as well. The guy eats, sleeps, lives, breathes football. Did it make him a great manager? No, really. But I think the style of football that we played under him was attractive enough. He had a lot of half-decent players at his disposal. Again, he's one of these managers that didn't get a lot of time to completely overhaul the club. But, John Hughes, a forgettable tenure, but at the same time, I think it was all right to watch.
Stephen, anything to add?
No, not really. I think he's nailed it on the head. I think he's probably in at Hibs at the wrong time. Probably would have taken him back after Hecky, to be honest, before Ross. But yeah, like he says, lives, breathes, sleeps football.
Absolutely passionate guy. You could argue that a few players were sold away from him without his knowledge. Losing Anthony Stokes on the last day of a transfer window, not having much chance to replace him. But some of the football that we got with Liam Miller and McBride in the middle at the start of that season was absolutely phenomenal as well. So, Stephen, over to you. Start, bench, or sell? Who have we got?
Start Yogi, bench Williamson, get rid of Mixu.
So we've heard Stephen's predictions. Liam, where are you going to start everybody?
So I think purely based on the fact that I don't really remember much from Bobby Williamson, I am going to sell him. I'm going to bench Mixu and start John Hughes. Just on what I remember. I remember Yogi's style of play, being good to watch. Mixu's been all right to watch, and Bobby Williamson's, I don't remember watching it at all. So, that's what I'm going to go with.
You're too young and good looking. That's your problem, Liam, honestly. No, I've got to be honest. My predictions for this one, very much how I remember John Hughes. Great football to watch in the early days for us. Kind of unlucky with players. I'm going to bench Bobby Williamson. Brought through some fantastic youth players, which definitely paved the way for Tony Mowbray. So he's going to have a bit of a place in my heart for that. And I'm sorry, Mixu, loved you up front. Love a derby hat trick, mate. But you've not really set the header on fire since leaving us. So you're going to be sold. Thanks very much.
See you later, Mixu, bro.
And to wrap up today, the members of Hibs Talk wanted to put a massive thank you to the Movember campaign, everyone that supported it there. The Hibs Pod squads all got together, that was Down the Slope, Long Bangers, and of course ourselves, to raise a lot of money and a lot of awareness for Movember, which is for the fight against prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and also to get men talking about mental health. With our team captain, Harry, whose idea it was, a fantastic idea to put it together, we have been able to raise £3,259 at last count. Absolutely fantastic. Stephen, you and I took part. How's the response been?
You raised the fund yourself, so it's
I know, fantastic team effort, even though I am obviously the super John McGinn of the pod's Movember effort. Yeah. How did you find the response to you doing it?
Well, considering I grow fuck all, I've done all right, I thought. To be fair, I'm already starting for next year, so I'm just going to keep it running until next October and shave it off again. But no, it was good. It was good to be involved in it, and I think everybody put in a shift for it. So no, it was really good.
Absolutely. The money raised, absolutely sensational. hats off to both down the slope and long bangers. Stephen, not so much, but Stuart and Gav were brilliant. Listen, over £3,000. That's a fantastic amount of money going to some great causes. And if you do it again next November, then honestly, mate, please do, because I was pissing myself all through the month, because your ability to grow a moustache is absolutely shocking.
I blame it on the fair hair, mate. That's what it is.
But honestly, all joking aside, honestly, guys, we're brilliant, fantastic amount of money raised for great causes.
Yeah, absolutely great fun. We've really appreciated everyone who's got involved on social media, as well as everyone that's made a donation. Thanks very much for your support and ridicule across the month. We'll do it again next year, I'm sure. So that's us wrapping up Hibs Talk for another episode. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Cheers.
And thanks very much, Liam, for getting involved.
Cheers, Stuart.
So what are the plans for tonight, guys?
Just the football, mate.
Absolutely. We've got PSG versus Man U tonight, isn't it?
That's right, aye.
And yourself, what are you up to, Liam?
I've got a couple of bevies in the fridge. Might have a wee swally, watch a football, play a bit of Call of Duty maybe.
Cannot be bad. So we're going to sign off here. Hopefully next week you'll have Gav back and a little bit more professionalism. However, thanks very much for listening. Take care.
Catch you after.